Hello, everyone. Today we're coming to you live from Zoom Lake, and we're talking profit. We're lucky enough to have Rusty Walker here from Dealer Profit Services. Let's just jump right in. Rusty, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself and your background in the marine industry?
Well, thanks, Mike. I have spent the last 40 years in the retail sales and finance industry. The last 20 as the general sales manager and finance director for a large boat dealership here on the west coast of Florida.
With your experience providing in-house financing, Rusty, at some point you started to consider outside service providers and ultimately chose Dealer Profit Services. How did that unfold?
Well, frankly, I just got so doggone busy. I was overwhelmed, and I needed help on the finance side. I was spending so much time on the sales side, and I just realized I needed the help. I wasn't willing to pay the high commissions, 30 to 40%, as most of the providers were charging. So I reached out to some of my trusted bank representatives and asked them who they would recommend as a service provider that had high integrity and also didn't charge so much. And they referred me to Dealer Profit Services, TS.
With your experience, then, why wouldn't you just hire someone and train them yourselves to work in the dealership?
Well, frankly, time, uh, exposure, really didn't have the time to train a business manager. It's the hardest and the most important and misunderstood department in the whole dealership. And the training takes months, at best to get someone up to speed. Our biggest liability certainly is in there from a funding standpoint and documents. Our biggest worries as a dealer is what goes on in there. And then after we spend all the time training, what if it ends up being the wrong guy? Uh, we just don't have the time to start all over again, retrain again. And Lord knows if they cause any issues in there, what we have to clean up. So thinking of as an outside provider, I would know in a short period of time, be able to monitor within 30 to 60 days whether or not this was going to be a good fit for us, and be able to make those changes if necessary in a short period of time as to having to wait for a long period of time and having to do it all over again. I just didn't have the time. It's too tough of a position.
So was it hard to let go of some of those responsibilities, and what were your biggest fears?
It was very hard to let go of the responsibilities. And the biggest fear was actually just kind of losing control of where we were in the deal. When it was in house, I always knew where we were. I could, stay involved. And we were afraid of, me not being in the loop, number one, and then possibly losing a deal altogether. We always have that fear of someone else getting involved and blowing our deal.
And once you made the switch, what did you find out?
Well, I was pleasantly surprised that didn't happen. In fact, the way DPS works is that they notify us in real time everything that's going on in the deal, that we can see actually from the call in to the approval. Uh, if there's any issues in the deal or things aren't going down right for any reason, the business manager calls me or my sales manager, and we went over what the obstacles were and put our heads together for a little strategy on what to get back to the customer with. And it really acted like just like it would be in-house, where we strategize and do what we can to help keep the deal together. And so what I found out was instead of worrying about losing the deal, we were actually gaining deals, and we were able to put deals together that maybe we weren't able to before. We work together as a team because that's what we are.
So for a dealership that's already using a different service provider, why should they consider Use Dealer Profit Services instead?
Well, one of the first reasons is that we only charge 20% commission. So right off the bat, you're going to make more money if everything were to stay the same as far as sales and back-end sales and what have you. The second, and certainly just as important, is the customer experience. From the beginning, when you start out by selling it, them the boat and them being happy, to us, following up with finance information, being boaters ourselves, sharing the experiences with them, keeping that relationship with the customer on a high level so that when they come in for delivery, the experience is awesome, meaning they know what they're doing, they know the payments and the terms, there's no unanswered questions. Like we said before, the signing portion, of the delivery is the easiest for them, and it's a happy moment. You know, your confidence level as a dealer is much higher because you know that they've been taken care of from the beginning to the end. So I think between the savings of the money, us selling us more product, and keeping that customer happy is the main difference between us and the rest of the guys.
So, Rusty, with online shopping becoming kind of the norm these days, the virtual showrooms, uh, people finding boats, far and away, kind of locating them through the internet, how does Dealer Profit Services help a dealer take advantage of those opportunities?
Well, we certainly do help, and we understand that that's the way of the future, shopping online and what have you. If I could, I'd share a short story. Here just a few weeks back, we had a customer in Texas that inquired about a certain boat that he wanted, and he actually found it at one of our dealers in Missouri. And he basically picked up the phone, called the dealer to make sure the boat was in stock. The dealer told him it was. They agreed on the price over the telephone. While he was online, he went ahead and clicked on our application button to get the financing handled. Within a few hours, we had his approval, calling back with all the terms, rates, and he was ecstatic. We notified the dealer as we do in real time and let him know that the deal's been approved. The next day, he got up at dark 30, drove over 500 miles to the dealership, saw his new boat, took it for a ride and make sure it ran out great. Within an hour, he was in the dealership signing his documents. He was happy. He already knew, of course, what the rates and the payments were. And by middle afternoon, he had his boat in tow heading back to Texas. That's just an unbelievable experience this day and age in any industry, much less the boat business. In all my years and experience, something like that, it just wasn't even possible. And here you have a transaction that literally went down in 24 hours, on a very large purchase, and everybody was just as happy as they could be. We want to be part of that. We are very active with dealerships' websites to make sure we have proper what we call to action buttons, so that a customer has the opportunity at any time while he's searching for inventory or for a specific boat, he can click on for pre-approval. It's something that we do ahead of time. And again, we're always in contact with the dealer, letting them know that he was inquired, and we see what we can do to move forward to sell a boat. But again, like I said, those kind of stories just never happened before. This is going to be the norm in our business. And certainly we would recommend to any dealership, to be on the cutting edge from a website standpoint, from a virtual showroom standpoint. And certainly we can be of great assistance and help on the pre-approval and the financing side. So it's the way to go. It's allowing us as dealers to do, and our dealers to do, more than they ever have been able to in the past as far as reaching an audience. And it certainly makes it easy for the consumer, and the consumer is used to shopping this way now. This is the way, maybe not necessarily my generation at over 60, but pretty much anybody younger than us, it's much easier to go online, pick out what you want, have it done quickly, and get on the water. So we are all for it. We want to help you and be involved in that part of it for sure.
So at this point, Rusty, I'm going to go ahead and kind of wrap this up. I really appreciate your time. And I just want to share with you, you remind me of a commercial when I was a kid where this guy says, I'm not only the hair club president, I'm also a client. And, I'm not poking fun or anything here, but throughout the interview, you talk about Dealer Profit Services as a them, and you also refer to them as us. So you've made the transition and came over to work there. If you would just kind of, tell us a little bit about that experience and whatever message it is you would like for dealers to take from this. What do you want to say?
I did make the transition about a year and a half ago and came to work with Dealer Profit Services as the Director of Business Managers and Business Management. And I oversee the workings of the deals with the dealers and the customers and the business managers. I'm at certainly a point in my career and in my life where I truly enjoy working with various dealers spread out through the country, various managers. I love sharing and the training aspect of the retail business and marine, especially, whether that's salesmen, business managers, sales managers, whatever that would be. Um, and I would say this, just like me, 6, 7 years ago, uh, when I saw the need that I may need some, help, but I was reluctant and I had some, ego involved. But when it came down to it, what did I have to lose? That I could try this for 90 days and see what happens. And to be honest with you, going back to then, I didn't think it would succeed. I expected it to fail, thinking that the old way was better. And of course, like we discussed, to my delight, it turned out better. So my message would be is to call us, contact us, click on our website, give us an opportunity to spend an hour, share some information. I am sure, very confident that there's some way that we can help. If there isn't, hey, it'll just be a free hour getting to know you and sharing some info. But we would be more than glad to go over what you're currently doing, seeing what you would like to do or how we can improve it. And within a short period of time, probably be able to put something together that'll help us all and benefit us. Make a little bit more money and have fun along the way.
Thank you, Rusty. That's a fantastic answer. I appreciate your time. Hopefully we'll talk again soon.
Hopefully so. Thank you very much.